Yeah, good morning and welcome back. Just down here at the Sonex this morning, I'm going to give an honest attempt at fitting the undercarriage on, finalising the undercarriage, namely for the sole purpose of having this aeroplane able to be moved off its current jig that I've got it set up on. I've got it diagonally across the shed. You may have sort of notice that it's a little bit sort of getting a bit squeezy around the place to get around here now, so I don't think it's that much of a process to get it on its gear legs. I've practically done the tail wheel. All it needs to be done is drilled through the titanium part of that. This has got 4 bolts through it, one in each axle and one through the main engine mount, and the wheels seem fairly simple to put on, excluding the brakes. I guess that might be some sort of timely process, but let's just moving back onto the legs at the moment, and the process that I see after having a look at a couple of little things online and videos and Gavin's and other things is it's not that hard of a process, so long as you're relying on the axle hitting a straight edge, which I've got a piece of stock material there, and just sliding it in and out till it reaches this little shim that's supplied by Sonex. We'll go through that in a closer detail in a minute. But basically, if I move this axle in and out of here, it slides, it provides you your automatic toe in of 0.7 degrees by just lining up the shim on this straight edge by using the front of that. It's not a 100% accurate process, but it's fairly close. Just on that, prior to doing any of this, and just using my building industry background, for this to be right, obviously the aeroplane has to be straight and level. It can't be on a tilt. It can't be anything like that. So I don't need to tell everybody that. I think everyone's fairly aware of that. So I've just set up a laser level underneath here. I've checked the underside distance from here to the main pin, center of the pin of the actual part where it fits into the wheel hub, and using that as my my springing line. So we'll just stop the camera, go down a little bit lower, and I'll just show you what I've done underneath there. Now, just prior to going around to the underside of the aeroplane, I just want to show you in detail how this is going to work. So if I move this straight edge in and out, which you can effectively see, it'll move away from that shim. So hence this position here is giving us the accurate toe in position. So if I sort of move that forward this way, it's moving away from the shim, so it's going to increase the toe in distance from the 0.7 to probably 1 degrees or 2 degrees. So that's the methodology of it. So long as this pin is actually straight and level, you can't go wrong with the gear legs. They're in a known position, and that's what we'll look at next. Okay, just if you first of all look at this laser level line I've got running through both axle pins. I'm going to call this a pin. I know that's got another name. I'll just call axle, whatever, but it runs right through the center of that hole. So if you sort of like look on there, you can actually see my thumb. It runs right the way through the center of that. So this distance from here to here is supposed to be 423. I've got more than that. I've got 440. So that's around about sort of it's about sort of 17 millimeters higher. I think that's right, isn't it? Yep, 17 millimeters higher. And I've belted this titanium gear leg up inside the engine bay, and I've, as I mentioned before over there, that these two axles, if I swap these two axles over at the moment, this would actually be down here further. So they're not, these, the accuracy of the manufacture of these is not that accurate. It's probably because of this bolt inside here is being ground off. There's probably a little bit of inaccuracy in that, so hence us sliding this up and down and getting it in the right spot. So that's not a manufacturing problem by Sonex, it's just part of the manufacturing process. So I'm just going to work on the on this level line being what it is. I'm sort of happy with that. I am putting the larger wheel on it as well. I think they're 5x5s, and I'm sort of in tendency to agree with Gavin that I think it's probably better to have just that slightly a larger amount of airspace between the tip of the propeller and the ground, especially in a tail dragger. And the property that I'm moving to with the airport on it has both grass strip and asphalt runway as well, so I've got the choice of both. So moving away from that for one moment, let's assume for a moment that I've got this in the right spot. So if I now look over to the other axle, hopefully that is right. So if I look at that toe in there, you can actually see the green on my finger. Again, this is probably moved slightly, so let's just work on the fact that I've got the gear legs in the right distance up into the actual engine bay, and the process says that I've got it fairly close now. So again, we'll just double check the the distance down, and that is giving me around about 440. So they're fairly close to being level. This between both sides is level. This is fairly close. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drill a hole through these axles, and I'm going to drill the holes through the engine mount and start the process of mounting this undercarriage. Yeah, good morning. Just under the Sonex here, ready to commit to doing these axles. I've set up the jig 100% now that the gear legs are actually in situ. I did those yesterday, put the bolts in through the front. I'll go through how I did that in a minute. Pain in the arse job, of course. I wasn't expecting anything less. Just throwing this level line through here. You can just probably see the green on my finger. It's through the axle there. I've committed to that. It's through the axle on the other side. I've committed to that. I've put some pilot holes through both axles. Just a 1/8 hole through that. I'll drill these in situ here. I'm not going to take the gear legs out now. I'll be doing it all whilst they are in place. So we'll just spin the camera around and we'll go through the front of the engine mount. So just back around here at the front of the aeroplane, and I'm sure there's a numerous different ways to do these. I didn't really want to drill them in situ. I would much prefer to do them on the bench drill, which I did. So I just put a small pilot hole or a pin hole with a 1/8 drill bit through here, just to align where I thought, well, not where I thought, where it was going to be. Took the gear leg out, put it over on the bench drill, went through, upsized all the way through to the 1/8, up to the 1/4 inch drill bit. But I didn't commit to going all the way through with the 1/4 inch drill bit. I just went through so far, probably around about, let's call it 1/4 of an inch. Put the gear legs back in spot, pushed them up into it, looked through a torch through this hole till I got it slightly aligned, and twisted the gear leg with some multi-grips and the like, and then pushed the back of the drill into the hole so I got it in the right, what I thought was the right spot, and then drilled the rest of the 1/4 inch hole through whilst it was in the aeroplane. Now, prior to putting it back in the aeroplane, I'd already drilled through the back of the engine mount just to ease it through that point. So we didn't go through 1,000 miles an hour and drill through the firewall. That was the first thing, but it was just in case I had, I allowed myself just a small amount of upsizing. I can't remember the size of the drill bit I used before the 1/4 inch, but it was probably around about a number, something for about the AN4 bolts or something, but it was definitely undersized anyway. I'm not real good with the imperial size. So, and I thought it was better just to drill the last little bit in situ inside the engine mount, just in case it was slightly out from the drill press, and it worked perfectly. So I aligned the gear leg, just in case I didn't sort of make it clear. I aligned the gear leg by pushing the back of the drill in, and when it fell into spot, I knew it was in the right spot, and then committed to drilling all the way through. With the gear legs, with the axles themselves, we'll just look down on that. So just with the actual gear axles itself, I've obviously got it touching the front of this, and I've put the straight edge on here to align with the Sonex supplied little shim, if you will. There's a pilot hole through here, so I'm going to drill through here. Now the only thing I'm concerned with is that once I start to drill this, if it twists, so I'm probably going to take what I saw from Gavin and put 1,000 pieces of tape around this just to try to hold it in spot. I was actually thinking of putting a small silver Clico just in one side of it, just through the top of here as a sacrificial hole, just to hold it in spot. But anyway, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to commit to drilling straight through. So I'm just going to upsize this about 3 or 4 different times. I just thought I'd zoom this in just a little bit closer. I don't want to keep going on and on about it, but it's just wanted to sort of show a nicer, closer spot of it, so you can see how the pin aligns with a nice little straight edge. Anyway, I'll get on to drilling these things and see how it turns out. Just thought I'd stop and put the camera over top of my workspace to show you the amount of clamps I've had on this thing to keep it from moving. It was just too hard to film. I have drilled both holes, and we'll go through that in a second, but I've got the axle clamped against the angle, both sides. I've got the bushing clamped against the right angle bit that gave me my 0.7 degree toe in, and I've got a clamp holding this to that, plus it's clamped just quickly over on the saw stools either side, and that was just to ensure nothing moved. Obviously I don't have to tell everybody that, but this was just a pain in the ass job to do outside of the drill press, but it is through, so I'll pull all this apart now, give it a deburr and clean up, and put the bolts through it and have a look what it looks like. Okay, going to throw these axles on. I've deburred all the holes both sides. Got the 1/4 inch AN nuts to put through, but just with the drilling, I don't have to tell anybody this. It's you know, you're drilling through titanium, which is a hard metal. At the best of times, I probably, you know, burnt out a couple of drill bits, which is understandable, only because they were sort of old to start with. But other than that, it sort of went through. It took me probably 45 minutes, I guess, per side. I'm going to say probably more. I'd much rather take all day rather than break a drill bit off inside here, and I'd be devastated if I did. But anyway, I'll throw some legs on and see how we go. Alright, welcome back. Okay, I'm going to see if I can throw this this wheel on. I haven't put any of the cylinders inside the brakes yet. I've just cut these plates out. These were supplied by Sonex, but there's a 1/4 inch hole that's got to be drilled in there, and the access for the oil line or the brake fluid line to come to the cylinders. The reason it's different, obviously, they don't cut it out, is because tricycle gear is mounted different to the standard gear. So let's throw this on and see if it all fits. Okay, it seemed to fit okay. I haven't, as I said, I haven't put any of the master cylinder, sorry, not the master cylinder, the little discs that go into the brake assembly itself yet. I have just sort of dry fitted it. Seems to fit. So I can go ahead and do the other side. So I won't take my legs out on the undercarriage. The amount of times that I've been walking over these legs in the last couple of days, I've managed to walk over it every single time, but about 5 minutes ago, no. My shin found the piece and cut it a little bit, so it's all good. Okay, happy with what I've done today. I was going to try to get the tail well on as well, but it's getting sort of past, don't know why I looked at my wrist, my watch isn't on, force of habit. It's getting past sort of 2:30, or no, just up to 2 o'clock. Got a mate of mine coming over this afternoon of a beer, so I might get on to mowing the lawns, but nice and easy, I think. Hopefully I've done it right. Brake lines and everything to do yet, but starting to really take some shape now. So I think next weekend I'll throw the tail wheel on and perhaps start the canopy, or anyway, we'll figure it out. But I'll just do a quick zoom around before we go, and hope you enjoy.